Hey everyone! Next week, so much exciting stuff is happening astrologically, but this week there are some exciting things too. So I wanted to come on really quickly. I always say really quickly that it's like literally 17 minutes long, but for real, this is going to be just like a quick little pop-in just to tell you about what is going on in terms of Mercury and Venus that are both, Mercury is now in Gemini and I believe Venus is moving in on the 8th. Yeah, so in 4 days. So just what that means as far as like the social shifts that it'll bring on. Hi, thank you for joining. And ultimately just kind of like what this is prepping us for because this eclipse season and also like Jupiter and Pisces. Not you honestly, you don't even need to be here because I've told you a million times exactly what I'm gonna say right now. But hi, my queen. But yeah, next week, I don't know if the new moon is next week. It's either next week or the week after, but we have a really powerful new moon coming up. We're starting eclipse season, or we're going further deeper into eclipse season. And what's most exciting that I'm so jazzed about is Jupiter and Pisces that's happening. But this week we have Mercury and Venus and some other aspects that are kind of playing a role in how we're relating to each other, how we are expressing ourselves. And so I wanted to come on here and just talk a little bit about it really quickly. Like I said, that was enough of an intro. I will get started. So if you have been in a space where you are to any degree craving any sort of change, if you've been feeling like you've been cemented in your reality or like, your ideas aren't getting enough heat under them, or you feel like, I have all of this that I'm sitting on and know where to put it, there's so much that is astrologically supporting the advancement of that. So know that, especially with this Mercury entering Gemini, there's going to be so much forward movement hi queen, thank you for joining. So much forward movement when it comes to how we are expressing ourselves and how we are showing up, and ultimately what we feel capable of. I said this a dozen times, but obviously, once Jupiter enters Pisces, which I'll talk a little bit more about next week, we're really going to be in a space where we're able to create our most fruitive reality, right? Really make conscious choices as far as like, what am I spending my time doing? What am I pouring my energy in? But this week is kind of the prep for that. And so the prep for that is recognizing the fact that with this Mercury in Gemini, how are we going to actually feel capable of creating these ideas and putting action into just like whatever projects, whatever creative endeavors, and whatever you look like as an artist. I feel like I've been saying this all day, but a lot of people are apprehensive to call themselves artists because of this one-dimensional view that we have of artistry. We think that we need to be, a musician or a painter or anything of like just the stereotypical idea of what an artist is in order to call ourselves that. But as long as you do anything, as long as you exert your energy in a way that's purposeful, you're creating something and you're an artist. So if you're a community architect, if you work in healing, if you work in real estate, if you work in any space where you are putting out something that didn't exist before, you're an artist. And so with this, especially Venus as well, moving into Gemini, how are we going to be in a space where we feel capable of creating, capable of really just standing firmly in who we are as creative beings, as artistic beings, and expressing ourselves through that. Also, it's worth noting that Gemini not only rules creativity, but it also rules social aspects, how we communicate with others, how others communicate with us, how we process that information, especially with, Mercury being there. So now is a beautiful time to redefine what our social identity is. If I'm going to play a role in, sorry if it's loud, if I'm going to play a role in community, what is that role and what purpose is using that role, right? So like, am I going to be a leader? Am I going to be a healer? I had my friend Amanda this morning say like, I'm a medicine woman, right? So like, what do people come to you for? What is it that you're saying? What purpose and intention do you have behind your words, and how are you going to make sure that it's heard and that you feel capable of it deserving to be heard? Those were a lot of words. It's Gemini. It's also worth noting that things are going to get really convoluted right now. We're working towards a Mercury in retrograde, which is going to especially impact those that have major placements or risings in the sign of Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, or Virgo, obviously, yes. It's definitely going to call for some revision, re-editing, reviewing, as retrogrades typically do. But we're going to be maybe a little bit mentally overstimulated. So making sure that you have a fleshed out routine when it comes to how much time you spend consuming, the role that you're playing when you show up in those. Sorry, I'm just going to let them do. I think they're done. Okay, yes. What is it that I'm sharing? Do I feel safe, and do I feel heard? And just, do I have a fleshed out routine to where rest is getting as much priority when it comes to how I'm showing up socially, what I'm consuming socially, and just like my digital identity? But ultimately, I feel like what is the most important to take away from this, is the fact that you have done all of the work when it comes to uprooting any emotional trauma, any emotional turmoil, and the ways in which you may have ultimately just held yourself back from standing in your full potential. So now that these transits are happening, it's like, okay, now that you've recognized the fact that even if you have limiting beliefs that surface when they want to surface, you know that you're capable, you know that it's all a matter of mental choice. How are you going to stand firmly in that? How are you going to put forth the action necessary to start creating from a space of confidence, a space of solid capability, of understanding of your capability, and just, and moving from that space. See if there's any other notes. Your interest may be peaked right now, and you may drive your own self crazy. I think that social media right now could be probably very overstimulating, but we can also overstimulate ourselves if we're taking on too much that we can chew, if we're like, I want to do this project and I want to do that project. There's a fine line between knowing that you're capable and executing, but also like making sure that you are putting in the time to rest in between. So come up with a schedule, come up with a period in which, or rather, a period of time where you're working and when you're playing, and really honor that. The last thing I'll say, and I said this during my morning session today, I was seeing this, I don't know if you guys know what like the 75 hard, is that what it's called? It's called like 75 something. It's a challenge that's going all over TikTok and people are obsessed with it, and it's just like, it's basically like a set of rules that you follow for 75 days, and it's supposed to completely transform your life, and there's like this mental challenge aspects that come alongside with it, and a ton of people are hopping onto it. I personally was like, this is a little bit much, so I haven't, but what I think is really important right now is the fact that so many people are willing to challenge themselves is very much this Mercury and Gemini. Gemini is at home with Mercury. It's all about mental stimulation. So I would invite you to come up with your own challenge for 40 days. That's how long I'm doing mine. But if you want to do 75, go for it, icon. But what does it mean for you to put yourself in a space where you are committing to whatever nourishes either your mental growth, your spiritual growth, your physical growth, your emotional growth, whatever it is that you know you need? How can you cultivate a routine and give yourself a set of rules that you will follow and commit to for an allotted period of time that will actually feed and nourish your own evolution? So it doesn't have to be exactly like what the 75 hard challenge was. I think it was like, no alcohol and a really strict diet for 75 days and like reading 10 pages of a book, drinking like a gallon of water. So good stuff, really. But I would advise you to tweak it to fit whatever is I think most beneficial for you and wherever you are in your life right now. So if you have any creative ideas or creative goals that you want to hit, coming up with like 40 days of writing 3 pages of my book every single day, or like, revisiting whatever it is that I need to revisit every single day, and committing to that, because I think our minds right now really want stimulation. And so it's up to us to choose what kind of stimulation is our mind going to get. Is our mind going to be stimulated by more distraction, or are we going to feed our mind and nourish it with things that are actually going to supplement it and feed its growth? I feel like I've been saying words and none of them have made sense. So I hope that I hope at least one sentence landed and resonated with you. Ultimately, in summation, it's a beautiful time to reflect on who you are socially, who you are creatively, what role you're playing in your social circles, what role you're playing in your communal and societal groups. Challenge yourself mentally, learn new things, pick up new hobbies, but make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself and, just start doing things that are for the sake of taking up time. Hi, Queen. Thank you for joining. Your interest may be piqued. Follow whatever feels right. And ultimately just know that you have done the work to be in a space where you can do what it is that you want to do, right? Like you've worked through your limiting beliefs, you've worked through any traumas, you've worked through whatever it is that was holding you back from feeling capable. And now that you're here, you can really stand firmly in knowing that, the only choice left is the one that I have to make, and it's that forward movement. And lastly, next week I'll talk more about the retrograde. I'll talk about Jupiter and Pisces, which is all really, really exciting stuff. But ultimately, I just wanted to come in this week. Hi, Queen. Thank you I'm getting off now, but ultimately, I just want you to know that it is now a beautiful time to follow any creative pursuits, any projects. Really pour into them, but pour into them with confidence and knowing that you're capable of them. And have fun with this Venus and Gemini. I think I talked about like the deeper aspects of it, but I think the lighter aspects of it is that right now is a beautiful time to flirt. It's a beautiful time to be mentally stimulated more than you are sexually stimulated. They can go hand in hand if you choose for them too, but now it's a beautiful time to just like explore what like flirting with life, flirting with people, flirting with dance, flirting with like just whatever creativity looks like for you is, and to be playful with it as possible, and to know that you have something to say. If you have something to say it, baby. That is all. Love you guys so much, and I will see you next week where I will have more to say, and hopefully it'll be succinct. Bye.